Imagine a local park where children can safely play, where families are picnicking, and where neighbors nod hello to officers patrolling the area, who in turn greet the residents by name. That's a lively, safe scene, right? That's community policing at its best. When police and residents work together, the community can flourish. Hello everyone, my name is Aiden Rogers and I'm happy to share today a little bit about community policing. I've been a criminal justice major for almost 2 full years now. I took a class that covered community-based policing this year and I thought it was very intriguing. I would like to share some information about it with you. Community policing is a way to prevent crime before it happens by creating a relationship between the police and the community and creating a safer and more friendly environment. Here are some of the main points. The principles of community policing, the historical evolution and development of community policing, and the impact and effectiveness of community policing on crime rates and community relations. First, I will share the principles and philosophy behind community policing. Community policing is a crime prevention policy built on involving the community in police operations and building trust in the community. So what are the core principles of community policing? I will introduce them to you now. First up is the community partnerships. Police agencies work with the communities to identify problems and find solutions within the community. For instance, Neighborhood Watch, where residents and police officers work together to prevent crimes within their community. According to the Community Oriented Policing Services website, or COPS, partnerships between law enforcement and community stakeholders contribute to public safety. Government agencies, community groups, nonprofits, businesses, and private citizens should embrace public safety as a shared responsibility. Positive working relationships between law enforcement and community members contribute to enduring solutions and enhance trust between the police and the public. Second is problem solving. This involves identifying and preventing problems likely to lead the crime and disorderly proactively. For example, the use of the SARA model, scanning, analysis, response, and assessment. Here is more detailed explanation of the model according to the 2020 article by Kelly M. Glenn titled SARA Model. Scanning is spotting and organizing the issue. Analysis is find the main causes of the problem using relevant statistics. Response is name and choose interventions, create and carry out an action plan. Assessment, review the response's effectiveness. Third is organizational transformation. Agencies recognize their management structures, personal and information systems to support community partnerships, such as when a police department moves from reactive policing, which involves responding to incidents and crimes after they have occurred, to proactive policing, which involves anticipants and preventing crime before it occurs. According to Jose Dacobo, in the 2005 article titled Community Policing as a Primary Prevention Strategy for Homeland Security at the Local Law Enforcement Level. In community policing model, officers are given a broader freedom to resolve concerns with their community. Individual officers are presumably the most familiar with their communities and therefore the best positioned to forge close ties with the community and create effective solutions. Now that I have shared the principles behind community policing with you, I'm going to share the historical evolution and development behind the community policing with you. Before community policing, the traditional model of policing was more reactive, focusing on responding to incidents after they occurred. With community policing emerging heavily in the 1960s after the Civil Rights Movement, the traditional model of policing was transformed more into proactive policing. In the 1960s, as the civil rights movements gained momentum, graphic images of police violence toward minorities, especially African Americans, jeopardized the public view of the police. The President's Commission on Law Enforcement and the Administration of Justice suggested better police communication relations. According to the 2017 article, President Johnson Crime Commission Report, 50 years later, by Cheryl Corley, the Commission concluded that police methods had to be completely changed for law enforcement to be more effective and fair, especially with the poor minority groups and young people. In addition, it said the federal government should support law enforcement by giving funds to the state and local governments, and promoting community-oriented policing, which means that police and residents should work together to fight crime. In 1974, the Kansas City Police Department and the Police Foundation concluded that the significant study, the Kansas City Preventive Patrol Experiment, the summary report by George L. Kelling from 1974 states, in short, it involved changes in routine preventive patrol in 15 police beats in Kansas City. These beats were split into 3 groups at random and 5 reactive beats. Regular preventive patrol was taken away and the police were told to respond only to calls for help. The normal amount of 1 car per patrol beat for routine preventive patrol was kept at all 5. There were 2 to 3 times as many regular preventive patrol cars on the other 5 proactive beats. As usual, because more patrol cars were sent there and cars from the reactive beats were often seen, in police terminology, a patrol beat refers to the territory that a police officer is assigned to patrol. In 1974, community policing gained the federal support through the Violent Crime Control and Law Enforcement Act. This act provided funding and support for community policing. To improve public safety, President Bill Clinton signed this law, which, according to the U.S. Department of Justice Office of Programs website, states in the 2020 article, the Violent Crime Control of Law Enforcement Act of 1994, signed by President Bill Clinton, is the largest crime bill in the country's history, providing for over 100,000 new police officers and allocating for $9.7 billion for prisons and $6.1 billion for preventive programs. Community policing practices continue to expand across the U.S., with many departments adopting the approach. In modern times, community policing uses data analysis and social media to enhance community engagement in crime prevention. Programs like the Community-Oriented Policing Service, or COPS, initiative continues to promote community policing practices. Now that I have gone over the historical evolution and development of community policing, I'm going to share the impact and effectiveness of community policing on crime rates and community relations. The excessive community policing has proved to be successful since it's led to less spreading of crime within major cities, as well as building trust and cooperation between the community and the police. In cities like Boston and Chicago, community policing has been credited with significant reductions in crime rates. According to the 2015 article by Martin Maximino, Community-Oriented Policing Strategies, Meta-Analysis of Law Enforcement Practices, it states, in 27 out of the 65 comparisons where official crime outcomes were analyzed, the community-oriented policing was associated with 5 to 10% greater odds of reduced crime. Trust and cooperation with the police have been observed, leading to more effective crime prevention solutions. According to the previous article, COPS, it states, citizen satisfaction with the police was evaluated in 23 comparisons, and community-oriented programs were found to be effective in almost 80% of cases, and citizens were almost 40% more likely to be satisfied with the work of the police. In summary, community policing is built upon principles of community partnerships, organizational changes, and proactive problem solving. Some of the earliest efforts and current practices have been effective and beneficial in terms of decreasing crime and improving police relationships with the community. Community policing helps keep the people safe and stops crime before it happens. By building a bridge between the community and the police, we can make the area safer and friendlier. Just imagine a future in which every community is safer, engaged, resilient, because the men and women who serve and protect share a strong partnership with their fellow community members. By embracing and supporting community policing, we can achieve this goal.